Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Harding. I'm the co-chair of the technical working group along with Kirk Smith. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in 2019. You've heard a lot about what we did last year. So I have the privilege of giving you a glimpse into where we're going next. Whoops, sorry. You heard we introduced the preliminary standard recently, and what we've got on the plate now is to one, continue to develop that version release 1, and also start looking at release 2, version 2. So the first thing on the plate up here is interoperability workshop. Maybe I should talk about the reason we have the term preliminary on the standard is it's a paper specification, of course, and we want to make sure that that paper specification it can be realized in practice. So there's a couple things going on to ensure that's the case. One is this interoperability workshop. So the intention of the preliminary standard is for vendors to start either developing or refactoring their products in line with the preliminary standard, and to bring them to this interoperability workshop where we'll all come together and ensure that what we've written on the paper actually works in practice. And that results of that workshop will feed back into the standards work and ultimately result in the release of the version 1 standard without the preliminary designation. And it'll also help us evolve the conformance matrix and tests. So as we find things that were vague, possibly in the specification, we can crisp those up and make sure we have tests to support the coming together of these different vendors' systems. So we'll be doing that through quarters 2 and 3. And the intention is in quarter 3, after that work is done, that we will release this updated specification, ideally with no changes at all, but realistically there'll probably be some minor adjustments. And then in parallel, another major activity is to kick off and work on version 2. So as you've heard from some of the other speakers, we've already got quite a bit of work going on for the 2.0 activities. We've been working with the enterprise architecture group on the requirements, both to look at gaps from the overall interoperability theme that was the focus of the first release, and also the second release, which the overall theme of the second is essentially portable configuration. So in this first release, we were successful in defining the interfaces required to allow multiple vendors to come together in a real-time runtime system and interoperate. And in this next iteration, we're going to focus more on making the configuration of those components portable and interchangeable. So I won't go through all of them here, but this is some of the scope that's currently being considered. In the next month or so, we need to firm this up and agree on what exactly we're going to focus on for that release. So you can see at the top here, we've got a number of different control application configuration approaches, both a OPAF specific set of function blocks and also some of the standards that are out there, 1131, 1499, to be considered. We're also going to focus on HMI and alarm configuration in addition to the actual control application itself. And as some of the other speakers have mentioned, we need to expand some of the work we did in the first release in terms of security management and application management. And finally, there's a physical subcommittee that hasn't spoken here today, but we have been very active over the last year, trying to set the groundwork for what it means to be physically interoperable. And that group will focus this year on, we think, on a terminal block specification allowing I/O to be interchangeable, the physical wiring to that I/O, I should say, and the actual network connections. So we've got a full plate. It was a busy 2018, and it's going to be probably even busier 2019. Looking forward to as much hard work as everyone put in last year again this year. And with that, I'll pass over to Don to summarize.